Tonight we continue our week-long look at the king tide. When it comes to sea level rise, we are ground zero here in Hampton Roads.
While we are a nation divided over the politics and science of climate change and sea level rise, as a matter of faith, the picture is more clear. We are called to be stewards of God's creation.
So where does faith intersect science? And should decisions about matters that threaten the environment also be conversations about community values? We sat down with a rabbi, an imam, and a canon for their thoughts.
While scientists differ as to whether climate change is responsible for one of the more deadly hurricane seasons on record, there seems to be something to the fact that as oceans become warmer and tides rise, storms are more powerful today than in the past. And in the aftermath of these deadly storms, the poor all too often find themselves without food and water and a place to call home.
Whether or not we were there, we all feel the psychological and the spiritual violence and tragedy of it all.
We cannot sit down and just watch them suffer. We really have to go and help them. This is what my faith says.
These Hampton Roads faith leaders see both a call to try and end the suffering and the need to speak out to try and alter the trajectory of climate change. Their religious beliefs far apart, yet all agreeing that faith and science work hand in hand.
Faith honors the knowledge of science, but it addresses science by bringing eternal themes such as the fact that each part of creation is beloved and cherished.
Keep the balance of the earth. Keep this world beautiful just as in the way it was created by the Almighty God.
There is also agreement there is much work to be done.
It's incumbent upon us to do all that we can to heal not only our fellow human beings, but also the planet.
For now, these faith leaders find their voices on environmental issues largely among their followers, encouraging efforts to save the bay or the use of green energy. They themselves often not far from the area's rising tides. Christ and St. Luke's Church in Ghent, just a few feet from The Hague, now forced to spend millions to save the century-old structure from sea level rise. Even more concerning, the question of not whether a major hurricane will hit our region, but when, and what role moral voices might play in helping the area recover.
The faith traditions, all faith traditions, as part of their focus on being part of creation and honoring creation, must have a voice in the larger conversation about the environment.
That conversation also perhaps a voice in how the area grows economically. An Amazon headquarters would bring billions of dollars to Hampton Roads. But if the project increased the area's carbon footprint, is that first a conversation about community values? And could the faith community be an important voice at the table?
I would be pleased to share what Jewish tradition has to say about things like the environment.
And finally, this thought: was the power and might of Maria a call for a renewed respect for the realities of nature, and also a call for a larger conversation about a connection between what happened here and the storm of rage that came over the Las Vegas gunman?
I think that there are more connections between the rhythms of the earth and the emotional and social rhythms of humanity than we may realize. And I think in future maybe the knowledge will be there and we'll understand how that happens.
Our faith leaders say for now this is about speaking truth and love to power, realizing their voices are stronger when they speak as one. There is only one Mother Earth.